We have never done this before, but I've taken some official football leather and I've made it into every single one of our products that we make here at Ashland. And we're doing this because the football season, believe it or not, starts in just a couple of weeks. And our goal with these pre-orders is to have it delivered by the first game day. All right, let's get into it. I wanted to show you first something we've never done before is a bundle. So we're going to be doing a bundle here of 4 different items. So the first of the 4 items are 4 leather coasters. So for these football leather coasters, these are a little bit different than coasters we have done in the past because we're doing 2 layers of leather for each of these coasters. So you've got football leather on the front and football leather on the back. It'll actually be pretty nice because this will grip nicely to the table. The other thing that these little dimples of the football pebble will do will help reduce the surface tension of your glass as it sits on here. So it should be a little bit less of a sticky coaster. The next item in the bundle is a bottle opener with a football handled leather grip, and these are made out of stainless steel that we had manufactured here in Chicago. Next up, we have our lighter with football leather lighter sheath. This would be a good one if you're smoking some cigars while watching the game, drinking your beer on the coasters. And then last up, we've got some playing cards in our football leather playing card case. This one is the same style that we've been doing for the last couple months in other leathers, but this is made in football, of course. And it's really nice. Seeing this in 3 dimensions kind of reminds me of the look of the football itself. And before we get into some of the wallets here, which turn out really beautifully, let's talk a little bit about Horween's football leather. If you're not familiar with Horween Leather Company, they're located right next to us here in Chicago, and they've been located here since 1905. It's my understanding that Horween has been making professional football leather since the 1940s, and it has not changed. It's very interesting to note that the ball you see here has been worn and played with for many, many years. It did start off this same reddish color. Now, most people think that footballs are very, very brown, and it's actually not the case. They come to the Wilson factory, and in fact, leave the Wilson factory more of this red color. You may have noticed that the balls look much darker and more brown on game day. And that's because each team has their own equipment manager that prepares the ball specifically for the player. So a kicker might have it treated in one way, and a quarterback might have their own specific formulations. All of these actions that they perform on the football tend to make them more dark from what I see. But it might be really interesting for you to watch the game and take a look at the colors for each of the different quarterbacks because they're all treating the balls a little bit differently. So again, professional football leather, believe it or not, starts off more of like this red color. So we've taken that actual football leather straight from the tannery and made it for our purposes. We made a couple different thicknesses so we can make all of our different wallet styles. Let's start off with our most popular style here. This is Johnny the Fox. With that football leather, we've got a black stitching along all the wallets that we're going to look at. On the inside, this is the first time ever that we've had leather thin enough for the interior of the Johnny the Fox. If we use sort of the normal thickness for all these card slots, the wallet just bulks up way too much. So I'm really enjoying the thickness that we have of this football leather on the Johnny the Fox. The other note for all of these wallets is we've done a little bit of a hand-stained edge. So we added a little bit of color and then waxed and burnished each of them. Up next is another wallet style that has become very popular. This one, I've noticed with the 3-dimensionality of this product, as well as on the playing card case, it really reminds me of holding the football. So this is our small zip wallet. We have black horsehide latigo on the interior. Up next is another popular style, the Capone Money Clip. I think this is in our top 3 wallet styles. A lot of people like this Capone as a front pocket wallet. People that don't carry a ton of cash and want quick access to cards on the outside seem to really like this style. When I wore this wallet, I really enjoyed it for those exterior card slots as well. Here's a look at the inside, and you'll notice in the interior center, we're actually finishing both sides of the football leather. So we filled it in with a little bit of a resin and added a little bit of a red color to match everything. Up next is another minimalist style. This is our Bugs Moran wallet. And let's talk about patina that you might expect to see on these football leather wallets for a second. It's going to kind of look like this here. As you wear the football leather, it will naturally polish in your pocket. And because of this unique football texture that has been embossed into the skin, you'll notice that the peaks of the texture become a little bit darker and the valleys remain a little bit lighter and more red. So you get a really beautiful depth of texture. You could, of course, apply some different materials to the finish to darken this up in the same way that those equipment managers do. But I would recommend just letting this slowly and naturally patina on its own. And that's because this football leather does have a vegetable retannage. So it tends to change color just very naturally. Although with that red finish, it might be a little bit more slowly than something like a lighter natural tan shade. Up next is another wallet style. It's kind of similar to the Bugs brand, but this one has a bill slot in the back and we call it Tony the Ant. The other thing we've done for the Tony the Ant is made it slightly wider. You'll notice the distance in between the card holders on the inside is slightly wider on the Tony the Ant, and we did that to more easily accommodate cash in that exterior bill slot. Up next is a really popular style more recently. This is a new addition for us, just like our Bugs brand, except we have vertical card slots on the inside. There are 2 vertical card slots on each side, as well as hidden card slots underneath each. Here's another one with vertical card slots. This is the vertical 8 slot Tony the Ant. So combination of the last few things we looked at, we've got 6 vertical card slots on the inside, hidden card slots underneath each of those, as well as the Tony the Ant bill slot in the back. Here's the same thing, but without the bill slot, the vertical 8 slot Bugs Moran. And my personal favorite, this is our flagship model, the Fat Herbie. It's a little bit taller than most wallets. And what this allows you to do, if you're a back pocket wallet wearing kind of guy, this is the best back pocket wallet around because it lays very flat. And that's because of this unique card layout on the inside. You can stack cards inside of here and you'll notice it's much thinner of a wallet, ironically, being it's called the Fat Herbie, than something like the Johnny the Fox. Because this has 6 card slots stacked on top of each other. The Herbie, you are not stacking any card slots at all. So you can really load this thing up and it stays very, very thin. And then the last thing about the size of the Herbie, it fits perfectly into a back pocket. And it's a little bit less like sitting on a big softball or something. It's a little bit more pleasant for a back pocket wearer. Next up, we have something that kind of looks like the Fat Herbie, but this is a little bit taller of a wallet. We call this our traveler passport holder. So if you compare the size of the Fat Herbie that is sitting on top of the traveler, you'll notice it's very slightly taller than the Herbie. And the reason we did that was so you could very easily put your passport into this interior flap on the right. So I'll be traveling actually out of the country next week. I will be using a traveler passport holder just like this. And then on the left side, you can carry other travel cards. Next up is another wallet style that is very, very new. This is our Joe Batters wallet. This wallet is kind of like the Capone money clip we looked at earlier, except we do not stitch down the spine and we've included an additional piece of leather to give you a bill slot on the back. The other interesting thing about the Joe Batters is what you can see on this side. We did this, we call this the skip stitch. So you can very easily put your cash into the bill slot of this Joe Batters wallet. We do have those exterior quick access card slots on the outside. There's 2 of them, as well as 2 card slots on the inside. One more bigger guy to show you before we get into some of the minimalist styles. This is a recent hit. It seems like people really like this wallet style. We call this the Lucky Wallet, and we've got it for the first time ever made out of official football leather. So Lucky Wallet is very unique in that it has this flap closure that does not have any sort of belly band around it, nor does it have a snap to hold it closed. And most people, when they first see this, might be a little bit confused by that. But as you wear this leather, because it is vegetable tanned and tanned with tree barks, those types of leather tend to hold their shape. So the flap, as you wear this, will just very slowly, it might take about a week for it to mold into place, and it will perfectly envelop everything you put inside. Let's take a closer look at some of the details on the Lucky Wallet. Other than that flap closure, we have on the back 1 quick access card slot that I very much appreciate. I noticed that that's my most used card slot. On the inside, we've got 2 additional card slots, as well as another sort of skip stitch on the inside. And this stitch that comes slightly down from the side here, as well as completely open on this side, makes it very easy to put cash inside of it. Let's swing over to some of our minimalist styles. This is our most popular minimalist style, our Frank the Enforcer card holder. Same beautiful football leather, same hand stained edges. We've got 2 card slots on the front with 1 larger slot in the center. This will fit US dollars folded in half. And then on the back, we have 1 thumb notch card holder. Here's a blast from the past. We call this Machine Gun Jack. This wallet is an asymmetrical card holder, very much a minimalist style with a snap closure. It's made from 1 piece of leather that wraps all the way around. It's sort of folded into thirds. And the Machine Gun Jack is actually 1 symmetrical piece of leather, which was the design concept for this guy. This one is a little bit tougher to fit cash inside of, so you'll have to fold US dollars folded into thirds to fit in here. Here's another fun one. Seems like people have been enjoying this as well. This is our Vic Snap wallet. Originally, we were calling this the coin pouch because that's what we designed it for, to hold coins inside of this little interior slot here and then snap closed. Recently, we've noticed a lot of our customers have been picking this up as a snap closure card holder where you can also fit folded cash inside of here. And here's something I don't think we've ever done. We've had the one-shot card case, which is this guy here, which you might have guessed has one single slot inside of it. This will also be available for pre-order in the football leather. But this is something we call the 3-shot. There was also a 2-shot. I think this might be the first time we've ever done a version of the 3-shot as an offering. So I'd be really curious to see what you guys think about this. It's kind of like our Frank the Enforcer. It's a little bit wider. So here's it showing you just how slightly wider it is. It's like a 16th or an 1/8 of an inch wider, but it only has 3 slots. So a little bit more of a minimalist style here. I don't fully trust your cash to be folded in half to fit inside of here. So you might have to fold your cash in thirds. So it's more of like a straightforward card holder, very minimalist design. So if you're carrying not a ton of stuff and you want to wear your wallet in your front pocket, this would be a good choice for many people, but I'd be really curious to see what you guys here on YouTube think about this 3-shot. And only a couple more things to finish it off. This 3-dimensional piece also really reminds me of holding a football. This is our vault key holder. If you're not familiar with this style, which we don't do a ton of, we have 2 key case screw posts. One of them is on the left and one of them is on the right. The cap for each of these posts screws off and you're left with this little post inside that you can drop up to 3 keys onto. So this will hold 6 keys and they swivel out. And if you want to swivel it back in, snap it closed, it's a good way to keep your keys from scratching up everything in your pocket or maybe everything in your bag. A lot of people I've noticed have been putting key rings along one side of these screw posts and attaching it to their normal keys. And last but not least, we've got something a little different. We've got our friends here, local Chicago Comb Company. They make these really beautiful carbon fiber combs, which are unique because they're naturally anti-static and they're very strong and durable. So this is a comb that's rather inexpensive that will last you the rest of your life. And the static part, the naturally anti-static part, is what really sells me on it. We've designed a leather sheath for them, and we've been doing this partnership with Chicago Comb for the last 10 years or so, maybe even more, maybe like 11 years. Been making little leather comb sheaths for them. It fits perfectly inside like that. We designed it so the handle sort of sticks out right from this little notch. We thought it'd be fun to include it for this event for the football leather pre-order. So there we go. All these are available right now on the private stock page. I'm really curious to see what you guys think about that 3-shot. Thank you guys so much for supporting us here with this football leather pre-order event. I'm really excited about the little bundle. I think with the bottle opener and coasters, I think those are going to be a really great thing to have in front of you while you're watching the game in the next couple of weeks. Maybe in the comments, leave me your favorite team and maybe tell me why you don't like the Bears. But apparently the Bears are on that HBO show, Hard Knocks, that I have not seen yet. But I'm kind of curious to see it just because the Bears have never been good and maybe this will help us figure out why. All right, guys, thank you so much for your support. Until next time, I hope you have a good one.